I'm not sure if anyone's ever told Lou, at least, not to be quite so heavy-handed with our equipment, but nevertheless, we have come upon some more lions, and the reports of the Styx and their lovely cubs, and, as a lovely surprise as well, one Birmingham boy to complete the familial picture. And as always with our lovely Styx cubs, there's at least one on a termite mound. There's actually two. And the fantastic thing about them is that they're constantly busy, up and moving. Well, shame I say that. It's probably because they're constantly itchy as well. They're always up and about. The last time I saw the Styx cubs, you know in The Lion King where there's the good lions and the bad lions? These poor little chaps look so the opposite of our beautiful coddled and kuhuma lions. It is, of course, because they have a skin infection called mange, which is a horrible parasite, and it really clearly is very irritating for them. Unfortunately, it's a naturally occurring disease, and there is absolutely nothing we can do for them. Luckily, it seems as though there's a very good chance that they will grow out of it, since the older ones seem to be less affected than the younger ones. And there we have one resting completely peacefully. Hello, gorgeous. Just a quick update for those of you who are watching us. We will be having a school drive this afternoon, so when we suddenly change our tone and our theme and start to take questions from school kids and other such sources, that's just because we regularly do drives for school children across the world, which is something that I find incredibly special and unbelievably valuable in terms of the positive things that Wild Earth and Safari Live can bring to this world, and conservation in general. And bear with me one moment, we can watch the lioness sleeping in the sun. How's it, Mike? How are you? Hi, guys. Just greeting one of the other, Mike from Cheetah Plain and his guests, who have enormous grins plastered across their faces. So, I think let us try and reposition, change ourselves up slightly and go and take Mike's place where he was in the shade. But before we do, look who's up. Oh, they've grown so much. Look how big you've got. You're like a proper little lion now. Almost. Not quite. Interestingly enough, none of them seem too bothered about the fact that they're all lying up in the blazing sunshine. Admittedly, there's not much in the way of shade around here, but they definitely don't seem to be too concerned. There we go. Settling in comfortably. Right, let us do a head count quickly from what we can see here, and then we'll change our perspective. Are there any cubs hiding behind that female? I don't think so. There you go, Roger. For those of you, and for all of those of you who are concerned about our Styx cub, let's try and do a head count. There's nobody hiding behind that female that I can see. No. So then we've got one on top of the termite mound that I can see. Then one slightly below on the right of the male. Then there's one that is completely hidden in the patch of dirt, lying on the ground behind that tree. Believe it or not, that is a lion cub. And there's two there. So what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's reposition and do another head count. So we've got 5 here that I can see. There might be more that side, but let's go and investigate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There might be some on the other side of the termite mound, resting in the shade. Oh! And now? All seems to be okay. We're going forward. We did a very strange pop into neutral there. Okay. Oh, sometimes our vehicles have their idiosyncrasies. I'm missing something here. I don't want to scare a cub, because I'm only counting 5. Oh, does she have some attached to her? No. Don't see any. We've got a slightly different perspective. Doesn't look like she's got any little ones attached there. Perhaps some of them are resting on the other side of the termite mound. Because I definitely have only counted 5 so far. 6. Sorry, there's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Let's try one more reposition and pop ourselves in the shade as well. The Styx cubs are slightly older, so they do move further afield at times from the adults. Aha! I see you, little scamp.
Up top.
Up top. Here's number 6. Hello, little one. Head peeking up over the top with its halo of fluffy fur. Isn't that lovely? A very beautiful scene. Right, shall we try do a full loop around the termite mound and then come back here? Okay, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hello, little ones. I promise we will settle down and watch these lions properly in a moment. I just wanted to try and do a head count. Doesn't help my head count if you don't sit still, little one. Yes, you plonk yourself down there. Okay, 2 up at the top, 2 down at the bottom, 2 down on the left. Let's do one loop and see if we can't figure out where the others are. I'm really, really hoping that we count 8 this afternoon. We're going to just proceed with caution, make sure that we don't scare anybody, because I don't know where all of them are. There's some tracks, off-road tracks, vehicle tracks going off in that direction, but I doubt that's... So we've got 3 adult females, which is normal for the Styx Pride, and now 6 cubs. It's a bit of a tricky area. Keeping your eyes peeled, Dave. Okay, we're just going to sidle round here. It's not looking good. We've come full circle around this female. She definitely doesn't have any little ones attached to her. No, no babies there. Where are you, little munchkins? Oh, that's cute. Tucked on top of the termite mound. That was the late arrival. That came and sat on the top of the termite mound. So far... Aha! I see you. Number 7. Can you see it there, Dave? There we go. Perfect. Thank you. Here's number 7. So there we go. Much further afield than I was expecting, which is why we were going so slowly there, to try and get around them. Okay. So far it's looking like 7. I'm doing some serious searching for the 8th, but I'm not seeing it. Well, as it starts to get cooler, then perhaps they'll be wandering around a little bit more, and we will be able to get a more accurate head count. But I think, unfortunately, it is looking as though one of the Styx cubs has not made it. I'm hoping that's not the case. It could be that it succumbed to its skin condition, simply got too weak and too infected and couldn't keep up with the pride. But we don't know that just yet. You can see that they really are struggling. It's definitely worse than when I last saw them, which was what I was hoping not to see. Shame, little ones. Little scabby creatures. And isn't this an incredibly pleasant afternoon? We've had Styx cubs and Kahuma cubs. I said we've got lion cubs coming out of our ears, and it certainly seems to be the case. They're just everywhere at the moment, and we're not well, certainly I'm not for one going to complain, and I doubt any of you are either. And a very warm welcome to Caroline Altman and all of the teachers at the Virginia Beach Teachers Conference. It is lovely to have you on board. Just a quick introduction. My name is Jamie, and behind me sits a gentleman called Dave, who is actually pretty much the one responsible for this whole deal. He's the one directing the camera and bringing you all of these incredible images. Now, we are coming to you live from the middle of the African bush in a place called the Sabi Sands, which is essentially a 4 million hectare, 8.5 million acre wildlife protected area in South Africa. And what an amazing place it is as well. We're currently sitting with a pride of lions that we have come to know as the Styx lions, and they're hopefully 8, maybe 7 little cubs. And last time I saw them, they had 8. I've only managed to count 7 this time around. But there are our lovely ladies, snoozing away, doing what lions do best. They're still a little bit hungry, but they have eaten recently. They've been treated to some extraordinary sights of this lion pride lying right out in the open. They're the little ones, 2 of them, sitting on top of a termite mound, playing with a branch, just like a kitten. You will notice that they are bald in places and they've got some scabby skin, and that is because they are infected with mange, which is naturally occurring out here. Some lions get it, some lions don't, and unfortunately our little Styx cubs haven't been terribly fortunate and they have got it, which is why, as you can imagine, it is something that is quite contagious, particularly for a cat as social as a lion. Oh, big stretch. It's exhausting work doing all that growing. Little ones, desperately trying to find a comfortable spot. Now, we are very fortunate here in that the animals, although they are completely wild, are entirely accustomed to our presence, and as a result, us driving around doesn't have an impact on them at all. We're just a part of their everyday landscape. That's not to say that there's no level of interaction, but generally we can just move about without disturbing them in any way. Now, Caroline has sent us through our first question, which is, how old are these cubs? Now, Caroline, they are just a little bit older than another set of cubs that we have on another property called Djuma. Now, these little cubs are probably in the region of between 4 to 5 months old. There's 3 actually different age groups within the Styx cubs, as far as I know. One must be close to about 5 months old, 4.5, 5 months. The others are slightly younger. And then there's a very, very young, used to be a young pair. I've only seen one of them that must be in the region of about maybe just 4 months old. So it's when they're born, lion cubs are hidden away by their mothers. They don't have them around the pride. And it's only in about 6 weeks that they start to move about with the rest of the pride. Bob, lovely to have you on board. Bob would like to know about the different skin conditions that the little cubs get. And Bob, if you don't mind, I'm going to try and answer your question once I've repositioned. I want to actually try and get around and show you the other little cubs that are on the other side of this termite mound. So we'll chat about Bob's question in a moment. I've got to be careful because there's lion cubs absolutely everywhere. That little one, sleeping all the way over there, was a recent spot. I didn't even know that it was there. Now let's try and do this very, very carefully. So Bob, mange is the big one in terms of diseases or skin diseases at least, that lions get. There's 2 types. There's sarcoptic and there's one other type of mange. This is not sarcoptic mange, which is the most serious of the mange types. They also get, the other one is called demodistic. And they are, the sarcoptic is far worse than the demodistic. This is the demodistic mange as far as we know. Fatality rates, I'm afraid I can't tell you exactly. It'll differ from pride to pride, and it depends so much on other circumstances as well, including food availability, that it's impossible to give you an exact fact and figure. There's also occasionally lions get fungal infections. And then they also get skin diseases that are related. Sorry, I'm just going to, squeeze past a tree. You okay there, Dave? Cool. They also get fungal infections and then diseases related to tuberculosis. Now, TB is a disease that a lot of the different animals of the Kruger National Park carry. Most of them don't exhibit any symptoms until they get a little bit older and a little bit weaker. And some will never exhibit symptoms at all. But with that comes sort of bulbous protrusions from the joints of the animals. And then you get the other, just in terms of lots of different types of diseases, you get the other types of diseases like rabies, which is also naturally occurring, and then FIVs, feline immunodeficiency virus, as well as feline distemper. Those are all possibilities for as naturally occurring diseases. There we go, a tranquil scene that we have come upon. Aren't they absolutely lovely? There's the littlest one on the left of your screen, hidden away, lying completely flat on the ground. So that's one of the youngest of the Styx cubs, fast asleep. And it seems as though the youngest ones have been the ones that have been the worst affected by this particular mange outbreak. Unfortunately for us, there's just nothing that we can do to help them. We've just got to hope that they grow out of it. And there we go, one of the potential fathers of the Styx cubs. I say potential because he is one of 4 males, known as the Birmingham boys. And he is one of the dominant males of this area. So him and his buddies will have been responsible for the mating with the females and now the protection of their brand new cubs. And speaking about lions and all the extraordinary things we can see out here, let's head across to James. In Ghana for too long. I just had to bring you across here because the most extraordinary surprise just happened. Dave got off the vehicle to stretch his legs. We've just pulled out of the sighting with Nkanyeni, and all of a sudden there were just lion cubs belting out of the bushes on either side of us. Dave got back in the car very quickly, funnily enough. So Nkanyeni is right here. I don't know where the lionesses are. I'm assuming they've gone further ahead. There is one cub yowling somewhere in the bushes off behind me. And that would account for why Nkanyeni was so nervous when she jogged across the road there. I've lost everything. The leopard's in there somewhere. The cubs have just crossed. Let's just go and see if we can't catch up with this cub that's making all the fuss. I don't know where the adults have gone at all. I don't know where... There goes little cub. Racing away into the distance. I am so confused. I think there are other cubs further back there. Where are the adults? Maybe some of the adults went a little bit further ahead and we just missed them, which will come as a huge relief for Dave, since he was off the vehicle at the time. And that's it. Just like that, I've lost visual of them. The animal's reaction for a moment. I think they're all fine. Huh. Here comes a lioness. She's calling. I think she lost. Maybe the adults did go through. She is contact calling. You can see she's very focused. Maybe those cubs panicked because they really were just racing away. And there didn't seem to be any sign of the adults. That was very silly of them. Put themselves at serious risk going off like that. Even Nkanyeni, who is a female leopard, is a potential threat. Oh, little cub is making a fierce racket. Right, there it goes. It's going to come running in front of us. What's wrong, little one? That really sounded like Mom. Mom! Racing off to find the rest of them. Our lioness is just... Where'd you go? I promised there was a lioness there a moment ago. There was, right, Dave?
Yep.
She's vanished. What is going on? Oh, I can hear. Lions there. Lions there. Lions there. What on earth is happening? Oh, there we go. There's the other two. There's the lionesses.
Whereabouts?
They are just over there. Through that gap. They're going to come out in front of us. I don't want to reposition too much until we figure out exactly what is going on. We really, really want the lionesses to come towards us and not further to the east, because that's going to take them straight towards Nkanyeni. Luckily, the cubs have gone north, which I'm hoping will move the lionesses that way as well. But we don't need to be too scared, because the one thing leopards are very good at doing... Oh, they don't seem too distressed at all. Here comes our little cub racing back. And as he goes to catch up with the adults, look at his floppy ears. Oh dear. While our little cub races back towards the lions, it's another big cat extraordinaire. Let's go back to James and Tingana. Cat action absolutely everywhere. And while you were with James and Tingana, our little cub repeated the process once again of dashing off in front of us, yowling, and then dashing back, yowling. So I'm not entirely sure exactly what's gone on here. And I'm not entirely sure what to do with myself, to be honest. I don't know whether to go and try and follow those cubs, but I'm a little bit worried about pushing them further away from the adults if they are on their own, the ones that we saw dashing down the road. So I think what we'll do is we'll take the safe course of action and stick with the lionesses, because we know that they will be able to look after the cub. I don't want to push the other cubs further away if they are on their own, although I only see 2 lionesses. So perhaps there was an adult lioness that went just ahead and was very thirsty. There's water there. So I guess that must be that. But since that is the conclusion that I have come to, I have to figure out how to get us a slightly better view as the sun starts to dip below the horizon. As you know, we don't spotlight little lion cubs or little leopard cubs or little cubs of any description. So we will have limited time to spend with these little ones. But let's go see if we can... Oh, there goes... Sorry, maybe reposition. Pride, it's not just standard lion noise. They probably, to be honest, Jerry, they probably recognize the individual that's making the call, not just the fact that it's from the same pride as them. So it is something that they are very, very good at. Even human beings can recognize, with plenty of practice, we start to recognize the difference between male and female calls, contact calls, cub calls. Well, oh my goodness, poor Dave has just been thoroughly bumped about this afternoon. You're right there, Dave. You're going to need to get you an ice pack after this drive. Sort of. I've only got 1 cub as far as I can tell. The rest of them must have gone dashing off. Which is the jack. Okay. Doesn't pay to be short and not able to see over the top of the Land Rover. How's your view there, Dave, of our little cub still yowling? Scratching, licking, and contact calling all at the same time. Sorry, Jerry, I was in the middle of answering your question, although I was pretty much done. The fact that we can distinguish as human beings between males and females and different types of lion calls, they're much more expert at it. To the point that just like if you were to hear a person's voice that you know, you'd be able to recognize it from in amongst a whole load of other different voices. And that's crucial, because you don't want to go barreling off thinking joyfully that you've heard your pride mates roaring to you only to discover that it is a rival pride, that would be disastrous. Scratch, 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 lick, scratch, scratch, lick, scratch, lick, scratch, lick. Oh, little one. You poor thing. They've got plenty of energy, though. I mean, he just came barreling past. You know, we never really got to complete our head count. I know that at least 4 cubs ran past Dave as he was climbing back onto the vehicle. The female's calling as well. And while our lovely lions decide what it is they're planning on doing, let's jump on board with James for a quick peek at the setting sun. Poor Louise is going to end up taking out that giant 4-pound hammer that she keeps hidden away for special occasions in order to beat TriCaster into submission. The reason we've left the lions, and I'm going nice and slowly now, I can hear them calling, so the little one's still around there, the females are still that side, but I want to just come across here because apparently the cubs are on their way back. Radio comms are not good. Little cub tracks in the road. I'm going, there we go, there they come. So, Inkanyeni has just crossed, probably about, I don't know, maybe 50 meters away from where we are. Here come the cubs galloping back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You little monkeys, where did you think you were going? Hello. Look at this one with its floppy ear in the road. Hi, Munchkin. Off you go, it's okay. It's okay. One little cub. 2, oh, this little cub looks terrible. Oh my goodness. 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 little cubs. Oh, little ones. No, 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 that's my car. The lion cub is right underneath the car. That's the first time that's ever happened to me. The lion cub went under the wheel. It went under the car and out the other side. I was trying to keep my movements slow so that I didn't scare it. So in case you ever wanted to realize just how comfortable the animals are with us, that lion cub just climbed underneath the car and out the other side. Poor little things, they do look terrible. Sure. It was quite a shock. I haven't seen them properly since I went on leave. Some of them definitely look worse. Okay, so making their way back towards the adults, which is good news. Unfortunately, 6 cubs just came back that way. There was a 7th with the females. There's unlikely to be another little cub wandering around somewhere here, so there's a good chance that unfortunately one cub hasn't made it. The littlest ones, I think, are potentially on their way to succumbing to the mange. Thinking along the same lines as I am. Oh, reunited once again. You silly nunus, where were you going? Got confused. Jane is thinking along the same lines, which is, could the wildlife authorities not treat these animals? And the answer is no. Unfortunately not, and I understand what you mean. I feel it as much as you. Whenever we see animals in this condition or with a limp or an injury, it's very, very difficult. It's something very difficult to explain. But the standard approach is to let nature take its course unless it is a human-inflicted injury. And I know that there is an argument about how we are the reason that some of these animals are endangered in the first place, but the truth is lions are not endangered in South Africa. And an overpopulation of lions is worse, because it means the end of leopards, it means the end of cheetah, hyena. So we have to let nature take its course. I know that's such a cliched saying, but unfortunately it's very true, because nature's been doing it for longer than we have, and probably with a far higher success rate. And if we saved these cubs now, we might end up, if we saved all of the cubs that we wanted to save, we'd have too many lions in this particular area. We have to let nature take its course, unless it is human-inflicted, which is why Sindile was caught and darted and vaccinated, because that was as a result of human interaction to a certain extent. A little snarl at the cubs. And really, hopefully all of them will be fine. I think that only the older ones are going to survive, but I really hope I'm wrong about that. And no lion pride raises all cubs straight through to adulthood without loss. And Brian, on a slightly happier note, talking about our little baby cats, Brian would like to know why, since lions are part of the cat family, are they called cubs and not kittens? And it's one of those weird linguistic distinctions that it doesn't actually have a firm principle or linguistic base. But because they are part of Panthera rather than the Felidae, well, they're part of Felidae, but the Felis family, so wild cats, tame cats, domestic cats, all of the smaller cat species, their babies are referred to as kittens. Those of the Panthera genus, tigers, leopards, lions, mountain lions, snow leopards, all have their babies called cubs and not kittens. It's because it's something that distinguishes them as part of the Panthera genus. But there's no real distinction. It's just one of those linguistic idiosyncrasies, like calling an elephant a bull and a calf and an impala a ram and a ewe. And baby mongoose kits or kittens, and it gets very confusing. Well, luckily for our lion family, they are reunited once again, and we have a happy and contented scene playing out in front of us. I'm going to leave them now, as it is starting to get dark. I'm going to leave them to carry on their business. I also don't want to run the risk of interfering in any way in case they do happen to come upon Nkanyeni in Nkoro. So while we move off, let's go and have a look at James and his stripy ponies.